in the industry as a whole, and I'm saying fitness, weight loss, health industry, we have people that are losing the forest in the trees. Yeah. Or another way to put it is what you described works. People need a system. A system is some kind of set of like routines and behaviors that fits easily into your life uniquely. So it's like your system that could have a elastic band strength training machine. That could have a Peloton bike. That could be getting some running shoes on. That could be traditional strength training. That stuff, people are focusing on those when they need to focus on this overall behavior change. What is the container that's going to help you succeed? What is your system for your nutrition, your sleep, and how does it fit into your life and it's sustainable? So that is the key to our programming is we help people develop their own unique system that works for them long-term.
Right.
Now, let's get into that because that's your direct ask. We believe a couple things at Fit Father, Fit Mother Project. The first thing is for those of us who want to improve the way our body looks, our body composition, and potentially our blood work too, the primary lever we need to master is nutrition. You cannot out-exercise a bad diet. And especially as we get older, that becomes more and more evident. There's a lot of guys that bust their butt in the gym, weekend warrior types that eat like crap during the week, and they just don't see results. And the beautiful thing when it comes to busy people is a little bit of the right type of exercise sprinkled in is what you need. We'll talk about that in a second, but really nailing your nutrition plan is priority number one. And now when you think about that, the first thing comes to many of our minds is, wow, there's so many different kinds of diets. Like, am I supposed to eat plant-based? What about this keto thing? There's these carnivore people. I did the South Beach thing once in a while and that seemed to be okay. Like it's so much of these different, again, trees in the bigger forest. The forest of nutrition is this, that to lose weight, improve your body composition, you need to eat the right number of calories. So for losing weight, needs to be in a calorie deficit, right? But we want to do this in a way that doesn't feel restrictive and also in a way that doesn't mean that us as regular people need to weigh out our chicken breasts every 8 hours, every 8 ounces, every few hours like a bodybuilder may, right? It needs to be simple and sustainable. The way we like to approach this is helping people establish their proactive meal timing setup. Like when do you eat? Let's start with the most fundamental question. If you're going to get a system for nutrition, you got to figure out what are you going to eat? When are you going to eat? And those two combinations ends up being like, how much are you eating? Right. And we need to control calories. So if we start there, so what we like to do is like, let's tackle the when problem, because ultimately people are struggling with this stuff, not because they don't know what to do, because they have busy lives and don't fit in. So like, what's the meal timing setup that's going to fit seamlessly into your life? We give people 5 options. Some of them are intermittent fasting plans where you skip breakfast. Some guys love breakfast, so they're eating that. Some guys even want to eat 1 meal a day. They have that. Some guys work night shift, third shift. And I say guys, this could be men and women in any of our programs. I'm just thinking from a guy's brain right now. But it's like a meal timing schedule setup that's proactive. And the beauty of that is once you have that, you have architecture. You can hang stuff on. Okay, so now what's going to be the most convenient meal for you to have first thing in the morning? Well, it's something that's quick, nutritious, convenient, doesn't take a lot of time. Okay, so maybe it's overnight oatmeal. Maybe it is a protein smoothie, protein shake, something like that with some really good micronutrients. Maybe it is that favorite egg recipe you like. Maybe you're vegan, vegetarian, you have something completely different. You have a bowl of some fruit, berries, whatever. It's like the point is it's about the structure. So we help people get their nutrition structure. They pick their meal timing setup and we give them very simple meals that they can do to fit this. They can be adapted. If you want to go super low carb, you can do that. If you want to include carbs, you can do that. The point is eating mostly whole, non-processed, healthy foods with the right amount of calories, a consistent period of time. And then also using things like, how do we make it easier for Anthony in the future? Well, if I meal prep today, right, I'm removing decision points. I'm making it easy. We help people figure out what their go-to foods are. The stuff that we're teaching is not like magic, deep science of igniting your fat burning potential 10,000 kind of shit. The stuff we're teaching is what are the behaviors that we need to install as your system to help you be successful. And that's why our clients are successful, because they kind of figure out, oh, Jim has Jim's nutrition plan. Bob has Bob's. Karen has Karen's. Like it's kind of, they make it their own. And we take ownership over something versus just like we're renting a diet. It's like renting a car. It's not really yours. You're just kind of hanging out in it for a little bit until you hop off to the next one. This is like, let's take ownership and create that structure. And then when it comes to exercise, we're a big believer that if you're going to pick one single form of exercise, it's probably like just for the most bang for your buck, time efficient, busy people, it's some kind of metabolic resistance training, which is typically doing strength training motions in a circuit fashion. So you're getting like a lot of work done in a short amount of time. We give people options between body weight, kettlebells, dumbbells, stuff in commercial gyms, but we're stringing together like joint friendly compound exercises. Things, let's just say like squats or deadlifts or rows or push-ups or shoulder presses, but like modified in a way that they feel easy on people with some joint issues, been around the block a little bit, you get a little beat up, your exercise needs to account for that. So that's a huge component of an over 40 training program. And you sprinkle those in a couple times a week and you get metabolic benefit. I think we like to reframe people's thinking about exercise as we got to get out of this like calories burned idea. Yes, exercise burns calories, but it's a heck of a lot easier to like just not eat that 600 calorie thing of fries than to go run on the treadmill for an hour and burn 600 calories, right? Just doesn't make sense. So let's get the nutrition right. And then we sprinkle in these workouts as metabolic investments. Couple times a week, you get a boost for up to a whole day afterwards. Like it really just helps get your body to renew, gets these metabolic engines fired up, and it's going to be safe exercise. That being said, even that kind of exercise is not necessarily required. We have clients that have lost 100 pounds that literally just walked all day and just did nutrition. So the cool thing is strength training has unique benefits, both metabolic, anti-aging, all the things. It helps your metabolic rate as you age, right? And it looks great on you if you gain some muscle at any age.
Sure.
But exercise is secondary nutrition. We also address, onwards, sleep, mindset, et cetera. We'll get into some of those, but I'll pause for a second just because I want to hear your awesome voice chime in. And I know you're nodding your head, so you have a lot of personal experience with all this stuff. But yeah, well, I'll turn it over to you.
No, I mean it's all so good, and it is about the simplicity, which is what keeps people going with things. And when things are fun and kind of fit seamlessly into their lives, it becomes their lifestyle. So these good habits overtake these, formerly bad habits, and it doesn't feel like such a, like a mission or such a job or such an effort. It just kind of is just, part of how they live their lives now.
Yes.
And they've just made these small, changes over time. Doing something that they already enjoy doing. That's what I tell people. I say there is no one right way to get strong or to get fit. There's lots of different ways to do it. It just depends on what you're going to stick with. And for some people, that might just be going out for a good walk on a regular basis, maybe multiple times a day. For other people, it's maybe just some type of simplistic bodyweight program that has 3 to 5 movements that takes you 15 or 20 minutes to do, 3, 4, 5 days a week. Boom. You don't even need to invest $1 in a set of dumbbells. Right. And then, but there are people like you, yourself and me, we like that external weight. We love a kettlebell. We love dumbbells. We love barbells. We have a 4,000 square foot facility here with a bunch of toys that we've invested lots of money in that we absolutely love using, but that's just us. There's other people that maybe dance or, do yoga, and that's all they do. And these are all great things, and you can get tremendous results. But as you've started with, it's what's going in. What are you putting in the body? And that's always been, for me, the harder part. And I think it is for most people too. Certainly there's probably a segment listening that says, well, I eat pretty well, but I hate exercise, and there are those people out there, but I think a lot of us, especially us guys, like we like being physical. We like pushing and pulling and doing and exerting our bodies, but it's really, it's that difficulty in preparation and planning with our meals and stuff and not just overwhelming our bodies with calories.
Can we talk about that a little bit more? Because I think that is a big pain point for so many people, right? Like the summary of what you shared and I shared is like any exercise works. The longest living people on the planet, like the centenarian communities, 100 plus, like they're not doing P90X, right?
Right.
They're just doing daily activity, eating good foods. They have good social connections. They're sleeping enough. So this is what the body needs. There's many ways to do that. Just so happens there's some ways that are more effective for body composition than others, but do what you love there. Now with the nutrition thing, it's all behaviors because it's not like no one knows what healthy food is. I mean, it's gotten a little confusing with all these different factions and camps, but like we pretty much know that like the wild salmon on the menu is a better bet than like the pizza or the burger. We get this intuition. It's like, how do we make these decisions on a regular basis? Now, the way I kind of like to think about it, like I like to think about thinking because over the years of doing this stuff myself, I developed my own kind of like strategic habits and ways of approaching this stuff that is kind of become the core of this foundation program. And here's one of them that I think is very, very relevant to help people make nutrition more simple. I like everyone who is going to be successful long-term to have picked out their go-to meals. Like the people who are most successful with consistent nutrition, like eat the same kinds of foods on a regular basis. Now, I'm not saying all the time, because that will obviously not work, but a lot of the time. But you're eating foods you actually enjoy that are healthy. So it's like, first you got to start with healthy foods you enjoy. Then how do you standardize those? The reason this is important is because we live in busy lives, and every time you got to think about what healthy meal you're going to have, that exerts decision fatigue. You got to decide something 3 times a day, 7 times a week. You know, some people may be different. That's 21 decision points. Those are like landmines in your week that you have to like tiptoe around unless you have a plan. But like, what if I tell you could rig the game and we could take 2/3 of those landmines and just like get them off the field? Now you only have to tiptoe through 1/3. You're going to be way more successful. And if you do slip up, you've only hit one landmine instead of like 50 of them, right? So what we like to do is tell people for the first couple of meals of the day, because we're busy people, is to standardize those suckers. Standardize your meal one. Like, there is pretty much no reason for people during the week, in my opinion, for busy people to spend any time figuring out what they're going to eat for breakfast. What your body needs in the morning is something that's delicious, convenient, does not have a lot of digestive stress. So no one's waking up being like, yeah, give me the 72-ounce tomahawk steak this morning. I think that's going to get me going for the day. No, you want food that like gives you the micronutrients and stuff, and the right number of calories, but it's also quick and convenient. So if we standardize that first meal of the day, and you have that consistently, even if that's fasting, whatever it is for you, boom, 1/3 of the mind's gone, because we know what they are. It's going to be a simple habit. If it's a protein shake, like a lot of our guys and gals use some of our smoothie recipes in the morning, you're throwing in great stuff. Like, you know, you're like, let's just say, berries, healthy fats, some spinach or spring mix, some chia seeds and protein. It tastes great. Like people actually love it. And boom, it's decisions made. You don't need to think about that. If you standardize your meal two, let's just say protein plus greens or whatever it ends up being for your meal two, and you just have a couple go-to recipes, boom, another 1/3 of the landmine's gone. Now, we don't just want to be robots clearing landmines. We also want to enjoy our life. We want the spice. We want the variety. So these are the yin and yang we need to balance here with nutrition. So that's why I personally feel that things like dinner, meal 3, or your last meal a day are a time when you can be less rigid. Like it was helpful for you to have standardization in the beginning of the day. At the end of the day, enjoy healthy food. We teach people about the idea of like perfect plates. Like if half of your plate's filled with some kind of veggie you love, a quarter is some kind of protein, a quarter is some kind of carb or healthy fat, like you do you. There's a million different kinds of meals we can construct, meals you can order out at restaurants, like all of these things like that can be there. So that's the flexibility with the consistency. These are the two levers we need to balance. And the problem is if one of those is off, the plan is by default not going to be sustainable. Too much variety, you have no structure, you're never going to be consistent. Too much consistency, you can do that for a while, but eventually you're going to bottle up all this like angst and you're going to want to blow your diet. So you need to have both those levers in balance, and it's so key. And we also help people like proactively plan in free meals. I don't like to be able to cheat because that implies that you're doing something bad. It's like a free meal is like, I know on Friday I'm going to get a heavy workout in that day, and at night I'm going to go out with friends and family and we're going to have a bunch of pizza, and that's like planned in the plan. It's great. And then guess what? The next day I'm gliding right back onto the routine, getting back on that consistent meal one. And then that's actually like beneficial for me. In fact, there's maybe even some metabolic benefits to this stuff too once in a while. So right. It's the nutrition system. And I didn't talk about specific foods. I didn't say you need to eat low carb or high carb or this or that. I mean, we have guys who are vegan, vegetarian, kicking butt. We have guys who eat sandwiches every single day. Yes, they're gluten. They eat these sandwiches and they're still doing fine. Now, it's not for like, everyone's got to find their own thing, but the key is maybe the structure and the system, not like the minutia of the little details on a specific food.